Hey there viewers, my name is Torinski and welcome back to another DCSS Sunday. Today we're of course jumping back into the new usual routine, trying to get some 15 rune victories. And where we last left off, we'd had a very fortunate start with a good old Formicid, but unfortunately due to some hubris as well as some confusion shenanigans in Spider, we angered the Shining One and unfortunately met our demise, but we of course jumped right back into it with a Gargoyle this time around, and we managed to get exceptionally lucky on our final run of the evening, already finding a triple crossbow, getting a wonderful artifact bow. The world is our oyster, and so hopefully we can just dig in today, but of course who knows what the dungeon has in store, so without further ado, let's get ready to hop right into it, shall we? I believe we had just finished off Lair 2 here, and we were probably just going to continue our way down for the time being here. Still a fork to clear. We do have Spider again, so hopefully that can be our revenge. We can reclaim our dignity in Spider here today. But let's just jump right to it, shall we? Of course, the bow that we were talking about here is this wonderful +7 short bow. Just a regular triple crossbow that we'll probably enchant, whether that be with scrolls or with the Shining One's given grace. We'll have to see. And yeah, things are looking pretty hunky-dory, so let's just do this, shall we? Nothing quivered at the moment. Let's fix that up right away, shall we? And switch to the Weaver now that they're in sight range of us, and perfect. I'm hoping that we have a fairly smooth start to our session here today, seeing as how we're in a pretty fantastic spot. And in fact, I'll probably just take this one Nethack upstairs. Perfect. Yeah, no, we're looking pretty solid. Of course, the Gargoyle's extra AC is just wonderful, and a character that's a little bit squishier like this, that +10 leaves us essentially in a similar boat to most kind of sword and board style characters that would just slap on the heaviest armor they have available to them. So we can, again, hopefully transition that into some wonderful luck throughout the course of the run here. And interesting. It's funny because normally we wouldn't even think to be fighting Nethack, but of course we're looking pretty comfortable here, even against some relatively strong enemies for this stage in the game, so we cannot complain whatsoever. And we have shoals this time around rather than swamps, so that should be interesting to say the least. We are in a half-decent position just by virtue of the fact that we can kill Javelineers at a distance instead of letting them get a bunch of free shots while we try to close the gap. So hopefully we can take that, run with it, and convert it into a Rune here this evening. We'll see how far we get in today's session, seeing as how we only had about an hour in this run and we already got down to clearing our way through layers. So that's a pretty solid start for us here. I can hear my doggo being very upset. My partner and I are making some stew in our Instant Pot today, and she does not like the Instant Pot. But thank you so much, Eric. Hello to you as well. I hope you're doing fantastic. I see you've been playing some Deep Rock. We'll have to play together again sometime. But thanks. Hope you're having a fantastic weekend. Okie dokie. Lair 3, no real problems whatsoever. We'll probably just continue this general trajectory. We have to be a little bit careful of any fire-themed enemies, seeing as how we do have vulnerability in that department on our wonderful bow here. And let's see if we get lucky enough to make it up the stairs. Wonderful. Didn't get shoved off immediately by our new elephant friends. Can't complain too much. 8-headed Hydra. Oh, and a 6-headed Hydra. Why, hello there. I actually think we should be okay for dealing with both of you. We have enough AC that the majority of their hits aren't going to be doing a lot of damage by any means. Let's just try to keep our wits about us here, shall we? Let's not get too comfortable or cocky this time around, if we can help it at least. But wonderful, we have this lovely little choke to work with here. Thanks. Hope my weekend has been good. It has been, definitely. The last couple of weeks have been long feeling weeks for sure. So happy to be able to relax a little bit as soon as the weekend hits, of course. We'll see how this next week goes. I'm trying to get slightly more on track with my sleep schedule because I've been absolutely garbage in that respect for the longest time recently. But it's all good. It is what it is. And hey, maybe we'll see some good luck on our run here today. Start our new week off nicely, shall we? It's actually kind of nice seeing some melee because they do, of course, count as an evil enemy in regards to gaining extra PD from TSO. We're getting relatively close to where we'll be able to start calling in our summon friends, and hopefully this time around that doesn't lead to an unfortunate demise, but no promises, of course. And wonderful. Just about through with Lair 4 here, just speeding our way through without a care in the world. We absolutely love to see it. And okay, let's start to be a little more cautious as we begin to get overwhelmed by all of our new friends here. I'd like this melee to walk up. Perfect. Just to there is good enough for me. Definitely taking a bit more damage than I'd like. We're also spending a decent amount of PD here, but that should be a-okay in the long run. And there we go. We managed to take care of the Queen Bee. And hopefully that means we can heal up. We do have an absurd amount of regeneration on this character right now. We got exceptionally lucky with our mutations, getting Dexterity, See Invisible, and Regen. So that, along with the Troll Leather Armor, puts us in a very nice spot. Even at low health, we can feel a little more comfortable than we otherwise might on your average character here. And perfect, that is Lair 4 finished off. So we could take a peek into Lair 5. Alternatively, maybe we just head out to Orc here, see how things are looking and feeling on that side of things, potentially even finish off the rest of our dungeon before we worry too much about continuing forward on this side of things. So let's try that out, shall we? Orc should also give us a half decent amount of experience. Again, lots of heretics for us to take care of here. Ooh, we are starting to get a wee bit overwhelmed, so let's just be cognizant of that. Oh my gosh, an Orc Warlord and everything. Ooh. We do have a pretty ridiculous entranceway here in regards to just being able to pull all of our friends upstairs and then abuse the heck out of this deep lava here. We of course have natural flying thanks to our gargoyle wings, so that puts us in a much better spot than I was originally thinking as we came down the stairwell here. Fantastic. Almost a shame we can't clear all of Orc with this technique, but we should be fine for the most part here. Just a relatively rough intro to the zone. Ooh, and an Eden as well. Okay, well that's a little bit frightening even with our fancy stairs, just because taking the turns to just walk up might leave us in a bit of a nasty spot, but I think I will risk it here real quick. At least that way we can take care of them from the safety of our favorite lava pool. Fantastic. Don't love always taking advantage of cheesy strats, but every once in a while you gotta work with what you're given here, and boy did that work fantastically. So I will gladly take that, and let's see how quickly we can just tab our way through the rest of the floor here. Not expecting too much trouble, which is probably a bad sign. This is how we get ourselves into nasty situations like we did on our Formicid and Spider. Oh, right, and confusion, still going to be a little bit of a problem. I guess I can kind of afford to be relatively generous with our curing potions here. Fortunately, have a decent number of those at our disposal. I also think, as much as I love the extra regen, we'll probably swap over to our willpower armor here just so we can avoid any further confusion or paralysis if we end up against any orc sorcerers. That should put us in a good spot. Trident of protection, not too bad. Also trying to be a little more cognizant of brands here just because lately I've definitely been taken by surprise by a few distortion brands, most namely our did our genie get sent down to the abyss far too early and just kind of lucked their way into an escape? So we're gonna try to avoid these eventualities as much as we possibly can here. Roguelikes and cheese always go together well. It's a fine pairing for sure. Especially something like DCSS, where it can be a little bit tricky at the best of times. It's nice to take any advantage that is sent our way and roll with it as much as we possibly can, for sure. And there we go. This should be most of this last little vault area cleared out if I had to guess. A couple more loose ends, couple more friends here. I won't bother with the shop there. I guess maybe this enchanted leather armor might come in handy. Same with the brand weapon scroll, ID, all that good stuff. Might as well mark it down for the future. Unfortunately, nothing too incredible in these shops, nothing to break the bank over, but I'll still gladly take it. I also just noticed I've been marking these ID scrolls, but we have a decent number of them in our back pocket here, so we can quickly work our way through a couple of those unID'd potions. Make sure we have as many options available to us as we possibly can for the future. Ooh, and another blink scroll is definitely a welcome sight for us here today. And not too shabby. Again, just sprinting our way through, as is usually the case on ranged characters. You have high enough damage output, plus you don't need to worry quite so much about positioning when you're killing everything before it has the chance to come within any kind of danger range of you, so that is wonderful. And as mentioned before, I think we'll just jump back into the regular dungeon here and try and finish off the last few floors. A little bit sketchy having a reflection brand there. At least it was just a buckler, so it's not the end of the world by any stretch of the imagination, but could have gone a lot worse. I guess that's where the double-edged sword of moving quickly on ranged can be a lot of fun, can make the run feel very smooth, but it can very quickly transition from everything nominal to oh gosh, I'm panicking. So we'll have to see how the rest of the run goes here in that regard. +3 flaming shortbow, I guess we could pick up if we felt so inclined. At least that would give us both freeze and fire brands on our weapons. +3 is not too incredible, but I don't know if I'll bother with it too much, seeing as how we are just trying to train our way up to a high enough ranged skill here that we can switch over to that triple crossbow without it being abysmally slow. And in fact, what I might do is keep this ranged weapons focused, but let's start diversifying a wee bit here and just putting ourselves in the best overall position possible for the future. That should be perfect. Ooh, +2 cloak. What am I currently wearing here? Dex +4 and resist corrosion on our current cloak probably trumps that, so I guess we'll be sticking with our guns for the moment here. Ooh, and this has got to be our entrance to vaults with a preserver around. Hello, my friend. And not too bad whatsoever. It's ready for things to take a bit of a nasty turn here, but I will gladly take this as is, and let's put some cleansing fire in just to finish off this Tengu. Why, hello there, Rupert. We should have high enough willpower that we don't have to worry about paralysis or confusion. 5% chance of those coming through. It's not too bad. Do I want to bother fighting you, though? 120 health. Berserk is definitely a bit of a nasty spot. So I'll probably just walk away for the moment here, as I notice that I'm walking into a dead end, so that's probably not for the best. Maybe it'll do us well enough just to finish off our Ice Wraith here, and oh gosh, right next to Rupert. Okay, let's just summon a friend and go ham, I guess. Okay, so that looked like we had nothing to worry about, and why were we concerned in the first place, but definitely got exceptionally lucky with some of the rolls, which I will gladly take at this stage, don't get me wrong. Oop, and let's not fire in our friend's direction, we've learned from past mistakes. But perfect. Well, if we manage to take out Rupert, that should mean the rest of the floor is relatively straightforward to us here. Just fantastic. And we will continue forward for now without too much of a care in the world here. Definitely love to see it. I feel like a lot of times on these ranger runs, I don't have quite as much in-game content to talk about just because it's smooth as silk here. Until it isn't, of course, and that's when all of a sudden I'm gonna go hard swerving into panic mode. But let's just hope against hope that we manage to make it through a little bit more smoothly now. Fortunately, we do have that See Invisible mutation, so we don't have to worry about the Vampire Mage pulling any tricky stunts on us, which is just lovely. And we're pretty much done with this section of the dungeon already, and then it will be a question of where do we wish to attempt for our first rune. I'm leaning away from Spider. I know, shocker, after how last week went. So with that in mind, we might be starting our journey here, the next part of our journey at the very least, in Shoals. And we'll have to see how things are feeling there. Only 2% chance of banishment from Louise means that I probably just take on this encounter. Fantastic. Guess I should have probably also taken a quick peek at the brand on that Evening Star there, but just protection is not the end of the world. And that will be pretty much the end of D15. Which is a shame, because I've definitely been kind of putting off, procrastinating the going into either of our S branches here, feeling a little bit unsure. But let's just give it a good old shot here. We do have flying, so that helps out a great deal in Shoals and just keeping us on our toes. Hello, Nicola. Fancy seeing you here. We can probably try to fight you. We at least have the innate electricity resistance, so that's fantastic. If things start to look dire, we do have also a Scroll of Silence that we can bring into the equation. Now let's just cleanse with Holy Fire, and that is wonderful. Even getting a pair of +1 gloves out of the equation, which I will gladly throw on here, and wonderful. It's not too bad of a start to our zone. AC increases by 1. I guess we will swap over, even though intelligence don't care too much about. Oh, that is a wonderful looking helmet in terms of our tile, though. Fantastic. And away we go. This is where we start to miss a little bit having the Formicid with the ability to be wielding a shield along with their bow. But hopefully we don't struggle too much with that. Oh, okay, definitely need to take care of this Aquamancer as soon as we possibly can. Seeing as how that was a little bit more immediate damage than I was anticipating, to say the least here. There we go, that's low enough that I'll probably just spam Cleansing Fire once more. Fantastic. Have I tried a Formicid Ranger with an Orb of Mayhem? I have not. Definitely sounds like a wild ride, to say the least. Oh gosh. So of course, we spoke about the advantages of flying in Shoals. The disadvantages that Auto Explorer can definitely put us in some nasty spots where we're just in the middle of nowhere and starting to struggle a wee bit with things, but hopefully we don't run into too many. Krakens are the big issue in that regard. When you're in the middle of the deep ocean, no shore in sight and you start to get swarmed by a few tentacles, things can get nasty real fast. Ooh. Nets also not putting us in a great spot here. Start trying to fire back at our satyr friend. Oh me, oh my. Heal potion not doing a heck of a lot of work for us there. So we'll just blast out instead. And hopefully with me and my angel friend combined. Oh jeez, putting us down to 2 health. 86% chance to hit. How risky am I feeling today? Let's play this a little bit safely. I'm gonna drink a heal wounds. And hopefully we can get a little bit of time to heal up before getting immediately swarmed. I mean, not going too poorly considering the fact that we were shafted down here. And actually, speaking of which, how many magic mapping do I have, if any? Ooh, no magic mapping. Is a wee bit rough for sure. I was hoping to just shortcut our way into finding an upstairs before the Javelineers come out to play. But we'll just have to go with some old-fashioned luck here. Oh, hello, my water nymph friend. Goodbye. And come on, any second now. We're gonna find ourselves a lovely escape. Hopefully. That's the dream at the very least. We can drop the corrosion ring for now, seeing as how our cloak does that. And another Aquamancer. Hello, my friend. Let's, again, just try to focus you down before too many icicles come our way. Beautiful. And not the end of the world. Finally, our Deva losing their time in this world. But they definitely did a lot of the heavy lifting keeping us alive, and I think I will take this trapdoor upstairs just to put ourselves back into safety. Another ring of corrosion, how about that? And not too shabby. We've managed to stabilize after the shaft at the very least. And let's hope that the rest of Shoals goes relatively smoothly. Ooh. Snapping alligator turtle here can definitely put out a decent chunk of damage, so let us maybe walk our way to the slightest amount of safety here if we can help it. Let our angel do all of the tanking work. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate your contributions to the squad here. Beautiful. And there we go. Not too bad. I'm trying to get into a position where I can fire on Aquamancer friend here again. There we go. Much better. And not too shabby whatsoever. We're definitely going to slowly bleed out Petey here, just seeing as how there usually aren't too many evil or demonic enemies in Shoals, unfortunately, so we don't get a lot of chances to regain any of those pips that we spend, but so far, kind of one summoned angel per floor is not too bad of an equation, and we should be able to roll with that at least for a while here. Just waiting for another satyr to pop out of the woodwork here. I'm hoping that we can take out this turtle at the very least before we head up for a quick little heal and come say hello to our friends once again. Not too shabby. Ooh, 3 scrolls. 3 un-ID'd scrolls. Well, let's just pick up those bad boys and we can immediately work our way back to relative safety. And let's check out what we found here. Oh, hey, there's that magic mapping. And it was 3 scrolls of acquirement. Holy moly. Well, let's head upstairs and see what the lottery has in store for us, shall we? +1 pair of boots that have Dex +4. Not too bad. As well as a venomous short bow. Resist electricity. Does nothing for us. 3 pips of cold resistance, though. Is interesting, to say the least. If this was a bit more of a late game weapon, I'd be tempted to take that just for dealing with your Cocytus and with your Lam Laban, I think in Pandemonium deals some cold damage as well. In fact, if we weren't a Gargoyle, resist electricity would have also been nice. But again, a short bow, not gonna really cut it at that stage. I'll probably just take the boots. Dexterity's extra damage. It's better than our current boots. Feel spoiled for choice. It's not so often that on a ranger you will snub up an artifact bow, but hey, we already have one in our back pocket and already have plans for what we'll be wearing in the future, so I guess we'll just keep on keeping on for now and try it out. Damage is the best defense as long as we can survive long enough to make it so. That's the plan. That's basically most ranger characters in a nutshell. Just kill things quick enough that it doesn't end up biting you in the rear, that you are definitely not quite as comfortable on the defense side of things. And what else do we have here? Exactly boss level, some very sweet kicks. At least for where we're at now. But on our last acquirement scroll, I'm not seeing a heck of a lot for us here. +5 sling. It's okay. Nothing really to look forward to there. Plate armor, probably a little bit too heavy for us. And Emmanuel Pex is not useful in the slightest on this character. So I guess we'll probably just take the gold here and be happy for it. Still not a bad haul. We've replaced some of our equipment here. I'll take whatever I can get. And that does leave us in a pretty nice spot still in terms of defenses. So let's just get rolling, shall we? Ooh, I do hate this. Maybe I'll stop auto-exploring for a bit just to try and avoid that whole Kraken and deep water situation that we were just discussing earlier here. And give that a go.